And welcome back, everyone, to the Chopping Block. My name is Andrew Hefner alongside Dylan Shaw, and it has been a crazy transfer portal period for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. There have been plenty of players who have announced their departures and found their new homes, but 6 new players from across Division One are ready to make their way to the Garden State and insert themselves into this Peichel-led Rutgers Scarlet Knights team. Dylan, I know that you've been pretty excited about a lot of these guys who are really ready to make a difference for a team that's struggled in Big East play in the last couple of years, but has been on the rise, really on the backs of a lot of similarly ranked transfers who've inserted themselves well into this Rutgers team. So, Dylan, we're going to run through all of these transfers today that are confirmed so far, even throw in a freshman for good measure. But first, I'd say we should start with those departing and where their new homes will be. And starting is going to be forward Dylan Grant, who has made his decision to move to Charlotte. I mean, Dylan, is this going to be someone that Rutgers is really going to be missing heading into next season?
Yeah, if you were to ask me this question after Dylan Grant's freshman year, I'd be like 100%. This is the piece we want to keep. I can see him being a full-year starter for us. And his sophomore year was just not what you wanted to see. I mean, people could say he thrived so much in his freshman year because he was playing alongside NBA players. I mean, mind you, conference final player Dylan Harper at your point guard and Ace Bailey kind of stretching the floor for you. He had a lot of open looks. He was able to thrive in the paint. So, yeah, I'm not sure, but this year he just did not shoot the ball at a high clip at all. He was pretty ineffective, took some dumb shots. It seemed like his all of his ups from the freshman year just went out the window. And yes, it hurts to see him go. And when I did see him go, I was a little upset because I was like, okay, like I wanted to have on the team still. But as we'll get into this video with or this podcast with some of the additions that we made to kind of replace Grant's role, I think we improved. I don't think we'll miss him, but I'm glad he still found a landing with the Charlotte 49ers. They play in the American Athletic Conference. It's a downgrade, but it's a place where we'll see how he can do. He's going to play some good competition still. He'll hopefully be on a competitive team. Charlotte was not too bad of a team in their conference last year. So yeah, good for Grant. And kind of a similar archetype of a player, you have Chris Woolley, who is a forward as well, going to Seton Hall, crosstown rival. Um, and that made sense. He was kind of like an underlooked type of guy coming out of, I believe, call it high school out in Vegas.
Yeah.
Um, right? He was someone Pike had his eyes on for a while, but I don't think he loved his role with the Scarlet Knights this past year. Um, got more playtime down the stretch, but maybe his minutes restrictions. And who knows? Pike could have told him like this won't be your year either. So he's going to Seton Hall. It'll be interesting when we play him. We'll see if he has some harsh intents when he plays us, but. Yeah, that's kind of hurts as he will be a
Yeah.
sophomore, but I
And
didn't think that he was great. I mean, obviously he was a freshman, but his jump shot was pretty broke in my opinion, and he didn't show like he was a great defender, but he didn't have like great post moves or anything to make up for his weak shot.
Yeah, and I will say, I mean, a 6'8" forward, he has plenty of size, but 10.1 minutes per game, and that was greatly inflated by how much he was playing later on in the season. I mean, he had 17 minutes against MSU in that late game at the start of March. He played 18 minutes in the win over Penn State, and then 18 minutes versus Creighton in that postseason tournament. So clearly getting a lot more opportunities down the stretch, and maybe just based off his performances there. None of which were that great considering the amount of minutes he got relative to the stars on this team. I just don't think that one Peichel was ready to run with him for the next couple of seasons. But I also think that Shaheen Holloway, this is his perfect archetype as a player to pick up in the portal. He's a young guy. He's going to be ready to compete at the highest level. You've seen him in Big Ten. Now he's going to Big East. And of course, there's all the discussions about the difference in play there. But Holloway lost a lot. But I think that this is a good step forward for him, and definitely a good step forward in his career from maybe the amount of playing time he would be getting at Rutgers compared to Seton Hall.
Yeah, for sure. You look like, oh, Seton Hall's better than Rutgers. Yes, but I mean, as you were saying, they lost a lot, Seton Hall. we'll cover this in Turnpike Takes later this week, but like Ajay Hines, they need to replace some size. So getting Wooly for them is good. Moving on to Agbole, not much to say. Graduated, wasn't amazing JUCO transfer, but he's loved in the community. He was always good work ethic, I've heard. Got better slowly throughout his career. Peaked in the last couple games of the season. He had a career high, I believe 20 something points against. I forgot who, but that was late in the season. So, good for Manny. By fall, another center. He was like pretty like he was a project coming in from Kansas State on this past year. He like 7'2", lanky. He had like crazy upside, but he was. I mean, I hate to say I don't like saying this about some people. He was terrible for the minutes he played in the beginning of the year. Could not defend, bad basketball IQ, weak hands, seemed like he just did not know his way out there. Lost all of his minutes probably after the Central Connecticut State game, which I was at, which we lost. He was getting abused out there against a weak NEC team. And so yeah, he's going to Fresno State. I think it's a good place for him to land. He can definitely get minutes there, but never was, never will be a Big Ten player. Bryce Dortch, another forward, kind of similar to Woolley. Never had a jump shot, but I really like Dortch. He had a great work ethic. He always worked hard. He was a hustler, got to the glass. Wasn't amazing. He's going to Notre Dame, which honestly, great landing spot for him. I think that if he develops a jump shot, if he becomes more confident, I think what the issue with him is that in his minutes, he was never in a role that he could gain confidence in. He was never in a ball dominant role. So when he did get the ball, when he was put into positions where he had to make some plays, I don't think he was as confident. But yeah, I remember like the game against Columbia, where no, was it Columbia? Um, where Tariq Francis hit the half court shot to win it. That was
Yeah,
Penn. Sorry,
yeah.
UPenn. He played great in that game. He had a lot of rebounds, a lot of assists, a lot of points. So yeah, I think he's a great player.
Are you concerned at all about kind of losing all of this size at once? Because I mean, you're going through these first couple players here. They're all really 6'8" and above for the most part. Like, is that going to be a problem that you're going to see? And we'll see obviously with who the transfers are coming in. There's some big forwards there and centers as well. But maybe is losing kind of that whole almost position group at once going to be a problem?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. You could look at it in two ways. You could look at it in the first way by saying, okay, well these guys they were never great. Like they were never just because they're tall doesn't make them great players. And if they were going to contribute anything using their height, why wouldn't you rather start a guard that's about 2 inches shorter, might be weaker on defense, but will get you a bunch of buckets and might get you more of those wins? Because like really half these guys were not consistent players. Besides Grant and maybe Woolley, like George was not always getting minutes. He was getting like bench minutes at most. Woolley was on and off throughout the year. I don't understand Pico that much when he does that, but he was on and off. So, and you can look at it the other way, like, yeah, you're losing a lot of size. We'll get to it later, but we brought in a lot of guards and a lot of scoring, not a lot of defense, I would say, or at least on just off paper, just off kind of watching their highlight clips from their previous schools. But we'll see. I mean, this is Heiko is trying to change his philosophy. Clearly, the past 3, 4 years, it has not worked with his what he used to use before pre-NIL era with get the tallest guys at each position, get size, get heart, get energy, and you'll win games. It doesn't work like that anymore when you have a team like Seton Hall who has that basketball money, who spends $10 million on a lineup, maybe $8 million, and gets the size. So he's got to, or gets to scoring. Sorry. So yeah, we'll see. And then kind of run down the last three. Dorian Jones, guard. He was a freshman who had a season-ending injury. He's going to Kent State, good, respectable MAC program. And then Dennis Badalow, going to Towson. He was not good at all. He was probably the second worst player on the team, maybe besides by fall. Didn't really provide much. He looked slow out there, not confident. His jump shot, which he was um highly touted for, was never good. Funny about him is that preseason, pre like last year, people were saying that Dennis Badalow has the ability to be our best player for the season. And looking back on it, that's pretty laughable. But he's going to Towson. And then Harun Zerno, who I'm surprised has still not been um was still not decided on a destination. Not sure what his offers are looking like if he has offers, but I'm assuming he does based off what I was hearing that he was getting he was visiting like high major schools. What I've heard like high major schools, like good looks because he's a sophomore now. He'll be a sophomore. He's a sharpshooter. What more do you want?
Yeah,
And he's got good size.
exactly. I mean, just in terms of overall departures here, who are you going to be missing the most? And then also as a departing class, is this going to be something that's really going to affect the next couple years of Rutgers basketball?
I'll say I'm definitely missing Zerno the most out of the bunch. Think that just I wanted to keep him because he had such a smooth stroke, such a pure shot as a freshman. He's older as well. He's a 20 or 21-year-old freshman because he was coming from, I want to say, I'm not gonna try to guess. It's somewhere in Europe. And yeah, he had a pure shot, and like he just develops as a defender, develops
Mhm.
as a more of a three-way scorer. He would have been perfect. But again, I'm pretty sure he's settling on a high major spot, better than
Yeah,
Rutgers, so it makes sense. And then as a total class of departures, I think in this era of basketball, being able to even have the retention that we had with what we'll get to someone like Lino Mar, Caden Powers, Tariq Francis, Darren Buchanan Jr., Javante Ware, retaining those guys as having like five or six people is already more than normal. You look at I forgot what the stat was, but we are one of like 10 teams of three or more major player retentions. So I don't know how they calculated it, but we have three or more players that were major contributors to last year returning, and only nine other teams have that. So that speaks a lot, speaks volumes of Speed Pikel, of how he is as a coach and how
yeah,
people like to play for him. So
yeah,
don't look at the long list of departures as a oh man, like they're gonna lose a lot of guys. Because you look at every single team across Division 1 and the list gets longer and longer for some teams, like as you mentioned, Seton Hall.
yeah, 100%. Um, I think that this class, as you said, the fact that you're able to bring back a breakout player like Tariq Francis, who I think obviously had a chance to potentially move up um, in terms of maybe strength of team, would that affect his playing time? I think next year there's no doubt at Rutgers, or maybe there is. We'll see in a little bit that he's still going to be the leading guy for this Rutgers squad. And then also you're saying teams that have kept a lot of their scorers. I just want to shout out another team that we're going to be talking about later this week on Turnpike Takes. I mean, Princeton kept everyone, so that's like showing and I believe they're the only D1 team to do that. So that's just kind of the rarity of being able to keep all of your stars in this day and age of NIL college basketball. So certainly a good job by Pikel. I don't know what he's doing back there in terms of how much money he's spending, if he's increasing NIL deals, what convincing he's doing, what crazy promises he may be making. But Rutgers is shaping up to be a team that maybe is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the Big Ten. We'll see, obviously. I would say maybe um, get into the top half this year. That would, I think, be a good goal to go for. But we'll start going through these transfers, then you can come up with that decision for yourself. First one we're going to be talking about is a Central Connecticut State guard, Darin Smith Jr. He was a big scorer for Central Connecticut, NEC Player of the Year, and was a part of the team that, as you said, you were at that game. Central Connecticut came down to the Garden State and took care of business at Jersey Mike's Arena. And then the question is, you're making that leap from the NEC. There's going to be a lot of questions about strength of who you've played. The fact that I think he's played against Rutgers and also against other top talent, like Central Connecticut State this year was not a team at all that you're going to scoff at because they had some big wins all around. They played pretty decent competition all season long and they played well. So I think that this is already a really, really, really promising scorer to bring into this team.
Yeah, I mean, just straight up on paper, average 20 a game. He can score the ball. if you average 20 in the game on any level across Division One basketball, you're a good time. You're a big time scorer. I don't want to hear the NEC like, oh, NEC woes, like it's a weak conference. Yes, and you do look at 2 years ago where the last time we brought in an incoming NEC player um was Derek Hack. What's his first name? Jordan Derkak from Wagner, I want to say. And no, it was Merrimack. God, Merrimack. And right, he was the NEC Player of the Year, great scorer there. Like not as good as Darin Smith, a three-way scorer, lockdown defender, and we got him in. This was the D Harp Ace Bailey year, and yeah, he was a great defender, but he was terrible on offense. His three-point shot was just looked terrible compared to what we were expecting, was not really a presence in slashing, and you're like, all right, this is NEC. That's why it's kind of like a scam. Was like you see, oh, it's like a good deal here, like anywhere. Like it's like Temu. You look for a good deal, and it's like you're getting the product you really paid for, you know. But I think Darren Smith's a little different. He's when you're that good of a scorer, you can really get buckets at any level. He beat Boston College, really led them to the win. He led Connecticut to the Central Connecticut to the win against us this year. So he never did it against the highest level. Some of the question marks are his defense. Is not known for his defense. Wasn't known for his defense in the NEC level, which basically means he won't be known as defense at the Big Ten level. But can he fight around that? Can they work around that? Can Pico surround him with four other guys that can help make up for his defensive issues? And are they that big of issues? They said the same thing about Tariq Francis going into this past year. And by no means was he a great defender, but he was a steals machine. He drew a lot of charges, and he stuck with his guys. That's all you need to do when you're that good of a scorer. Just stay on the court, don't get into foul trouble. So we'll see if he's Big Ten ready. I love this transfer already. When I saw it that day, I was super pumped. Um, yeah, so that's a big time pickup by Pikel. And then I think the biggest transfer we got by far, maybe in the last even 2 years since maybe even the last 3 years, Rasheed Jones from Coastal Carolina. This was someone we got maybe about a week and a half to two ago. For me, I don't know. I'm not an insider, so I don't know, but it kind of came out of the blue for me. Darin Smith was rumored to come for a couple of days, and I sensed a big time guard coming. But Rasheed Jones, I had no clue. I didn't even know who he was before. I didn't know he was on our radar, and I didn't even know he was visiting. But he's a big time scorer. 15 a game at the Sun Belt level at Coastal. That's amazing. He shoots the three ball at a high clip. It was 37% on a lot of attempts per game. It wasn't like he was shooting three or four.
Yeah.
He was the go-to guy. So, and watching his highlight reel, I know it was through a few games, and highlights make anyone look good. They can make me look good, but I mean, he's a big time shot maker. Some of the shots he was getting off, like he only needs a little space, and if he gets to his spot, he's knocking that down. He might be our best player next year. I know I was like, oh, Tariq Francis, he averaged like 16, 17 for you. Rasheed Jones has the capabilities to be our best player, and I think he's one of the guys on our lineup who's most likely to start. Obviously, you never know. You could always use him as your sixth man to carry the bench unit, but I think he starts, and I think he in the first week or two of the season, Heiko runs the offense through him to start to see where we can go. Him and Francis, him and Darin Smith Jr. could be a backcourt to be reckoned with. Like you don't want to mess around with two big time scorers. You never do. And no matter
Yeah.
what lineup rotation Pico has now, we have that.
Yep. 100%. This is a fantastic pickup, especially late in the portal cycle. This one, I believe, only came in recently, like this week, or late last week. So to be able to add another pure scorer like this is huge. And we're only through two of these six transfers, and the first two are elite scorers who have done a lot for their respective teams, have led them to success over the last couple of seasons. And I think the one problem I would see here is just what the shot selection is going to look like for next year, especially when you're keeping Tariq Francis, who was there last year and was the leading scorer and all that, and is obviously going to be preferred by Pikel early on. But then you have Darin Smith Jr., who was really the only big scorer um, for Central Connecticut, and then same thing with Rasheed Jones, where there's these top scorers that are now entering a Pikel organization where perhaps they're not going to be the guys getting the first looks every time. I don't know if you see that being a problem as well, but I think that that's something to definitely look out for as he works out how they're going to go about giving first looks to people, what shots they're going to take, how the plays are going to be drawn up this summer and fall approaching the season.
Yeah, you might. Oh, you can already maybe even lock it in by now. Obviously, you never know. One of these three could be the next coming of like LeBron or Curry. You never know, right? But you can almost lock it in that none of these guys will average more than 15, I want to say. Like I think that Pico had a vision. He recruited these guys and still maintained Francis, Lino, Caden Powers for a reason. And it wasn't to have um interference within the ball handlers, interference within the shot selection, and like just they didn't want that. They definitely see one of these guys as a point guard. Like I see Francis being the point guard, not the I need the ball, I need to create my own shot. I'm the point guard. I need to create shots for others because I have people around me now. Francis had no help last year. Zero. It was the games where he scored 30 where we won. He didn't score 30, we most likely lost. In we had 5 or 6 Big Ten wins last year, Big Ten wins. Pretty sure 4 of them he scored 30. I mean, right?
Yeah,
That won't be the case this year. If
yeah,
we're a good team this year, it'll be based off team ball. But moving on to someone who might actually add to this team ball is Christian Gerdak. He's a kind of a he's an undersized center, not undersized, Big Ten, I guess, undersized center from Virginia Tech. So high major to high major. He's like 6'10", 6'11", but he's big. He's strong. He's gonna be a sophomore this year. He's effective in the paint. He really is. He's got great touch, great hands. Kind of something we've been missing with Byfall and Mandy Bole. Great hands. Like they don't have that. But Gerdak, he's got, you mean his like kind of his jump hook game, his kind of where he just catches it and puts it right up, using his body.
yeah.
Is That's his strong suit right there. He's got no
It's
3-point
huge.
shot. He's never attempted a three, I'm pretty sure, in his career. Only 1 year. Maybe they can develop it, but I'm assuming not. But he's already an upgrade from McBole. Just already. No matter, I haven't seen a minute of him play in a Rutgers uniform, and I don't have to until I can already put in, lock it in. He's an upgrade over Ogbole. And I'm happy that they get him because he's got what, 3 years of eligibility left. Um, he is a center that is like whose masters the shot in the paint, which we haven't had since. I mean, Clifford Morey, who was one of the best centers we've had ever, probably, or at least in my lifetime, was a great player for us. But even his touch in the paint was never amazing. It was more because he was such an athletic specimen that he was so good. But maybe since Miles Johnson would be our best center. And I know I'm speaking so early on, but you can just tell by the way he works in the paint, by his footwork, that he is that legit. And
Yeah.
then another guy who's kind of a forward, but he's 6'8" slasher, Will Sidner, who's a transfer from Manhattan.
I love this pickup. This is so good.
Yeah, he's kind of an interesting story. Star freshman, MAAC Rookie of the Year, 8 MAAC preseason all first team for this past year, and then was hit with an eligibility issue, something with his high school graduation, I believe. Something didn't go through. Manhattan was not able to let him play. He got it resolved, but missed a whole year playing. Coming off like a 14 points per game average, transfers to
Yeah.
Rutgers. But yeah, you take it away. I mean, you love this guy. I mean, you've been hyping him up since we got him.
Yeah, this is an amazing pickup. And you're talking about the MAC and Manhattan, which is a team that's been on the rise as of late. And not having him this year, because the expectation was, I think he started 29 of 30 games in his freshman year with Manhattan. Then you go to this year, they lose him, but he was going to be a part of the plan that they had done. They were going to build their team around him. He agreed to come back after that insane first season. And then he couldn't play at all because of that, like you said, high school issue that was really out of his hands. And now he's made the decision to leave. He's lost a year of his young career. I think the eligibility, of course, doesn't matter because he didn't play any games this past season, so he's still going to retain. This will be his sophomore year heading into Rutgers. But I think that this pickup, especially the guys who moved from MAC teams where they were really a main fixture of their programs, especially as a freshman when you're young, you've gotten that D1 experience already, and you've seen what it's like to work in a D1 program and become the lead guy, as Will Sidner has done. But now he's going to be able to still be young enough to be molded into a Pikel Big Ten offense and defense. He's going to really add more offense than defense, which is kind of the trend that we're seeing with all of these players so far that they've picked up. The main question is he hasn't played for an entire season. When he did play for a whole season and started all those games, he was amazing. There's no doubt about that. So we're just going to have to see what kind of work he's been putting in off the court, how he's going to slot into this Pikel team, and then also how he makes that jump as a young player from MAAC into the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Yeah, for sure. And I think he's another guy who might really start already in his first year. I mean, he's a great slasher. I think he's got a good shot. He's got the entire package. Unlike some of these other guys, he's got good defense as well. I like Sidney a lot as much as you do. Moving on to someone that I really just I couldn't tell you more than maybe two sentences about this guy. Luis Duarte. He's technically a transfer guard from New Mexico State, but he never played at New Mexico State. Um, no one really knows a lot about him. He played nationally at the Dominican Republic this past year. He's from the Dominican Republic. It wasn't in the highest league, but he played in some league in the Dominican. And I don't really see many highlights about him. All I know is that he has a decent shot. I mean, he's 6'5", so he's got decent size at his position. And I don't know if he'll even play. I could not tell you if Duarte will play. I hope to like kind of see him more, see what the Rutgers insiders say once summer practices begin in about a month or so. And yeah, if he's legit, that's a diamond in the rough, as they like to say, because we got this guy maybe second day the portal open, maybe even first day. So
I'm
there
sure
had
he's
to have been
eager.
something. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure he's eager, and I think there's got to be something. I just like I'm trying to tell myself like I'm arguing with two sides, like the devil and the angel. Like one, the devil saying like, "Oh, this guy sucks. No one wanted him. He doesn't play, right?" And the angel saying like, "He's Michael got went after him first day of the portal. Like, who does that? Why would
yeah.
Michael want him so badly?
He knows
Is he good
something,
or is he just a
hopefully.
project? Or is yeah, is he a project or is he like some specimen that's just been waiting for his moment? I have no clue.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then finally for the final transfer is Doran Buka. Doran Buka, I think it's Buka, might be Buka, but Kansas State, he's a center. Back-to-back years we got a center from Kansas State by fall last year.
Worked out so well for
Hopefully,
you last time.
yeah, hopefully we can break the curse. But he's a 7'2" guy, you know? I think he most likely was slotted in as the backup. But you need that Big Ten size because we're gonna go against 7'2" guys across all 18 teams basically in the conference, right? So having just a reliable size threat on your bench or you maybe even starting is really nice. He got good size. He didn't play much at Kansas State. He was probably like a 10 to 13 minutes per game guy. But in those minutes, he was really effective. He was a great shot blocker. He got a few buckets. He's not as good of a footwork wise and touch wise as Gerdak is, but he's way more of a defensive threat. So look out for kind of that position battle right there in the summer practices and through the off season. Right now, my money's on Gerdak starting, but if Buka if Buka is as good of a defender as I think he could be, there's a good chance he does start as well, or
Yeah.
start over. um, Gerdak. So, I mean, yeah, and then want to mention one freshman, Amari Wooten. He's guard. I mean, I think he's a great pickup. I'm pretty sure he's a 4-star. He might not play at all. If he might not play that much, if at all next year with how much guard depth we have. But I'm hoping he'll stay. He's from Troy, New York. They have Redemption Christian Academy. Um, yeah, I don't know much about him. I mean, I think Pikel. He recruits his freshmen pretty wisely. He doesn't go after a bunch. And when he gets his guy, he's pretty satisfied. And most of the time they work out. So, yeah, hopefully Wooten will kind of redshirt, learn under some of the older guys, and slot in the
Yeah.
2027 season.
So you've talked a lot about these question marks now with the six incoming players who, I would say, what, like 4 out of 6 really have had good playing time throughout their college careers so far and are proven basketball players. And then you're slotting that into a mix with 3 of the top scorers or top players overall returning back to Rutgers. Um, I want to hear kind of your instant rotation picks, and we're talking without seeing any of the off-season training yet, without seeing what's going to happen in summer camp, anything like that, just based off of prior stats, what you may be thinking, and then also, is Tariq Francis still going to be someone that's going to be the leading scorer for the Rutgers team? Is he still going to be getting the most minutes? And most importantly, is he still going to be out there starting when opening night comes around for Rutgers?
Leading scorer, I could not tell you. I mean, just with how much help he had last year, with how little help he had last year, I mean, I could be the leading scorer for at that point. Like, who knows, right? Like, I mean, obviously not, but right? But like, there's a good chance he doesn't start. And I know it's crazy to say, but last year when he was in the beginning of the year before the UPenn game, when he finally came off the bench, he was looking like a bust. An undersized NJIT guard who wasn't ready for the Big Ten level, couldn't defend well enough to stay on the court, and just wasn't finding a shot. Came off the bench, kind of a little like like kind of like a humbling moment for him. He took it well though, and he went off. Rest of history for Tariq Francis, you know? Don't like if he is not blending well with two on ball dominant guards in Darin Smith and Rasheed Jones, does Pike kind of slot him into the bench and let him run the show with the bench unit against other Big Ten team bench units as well? When he did that last year, he was dominant. You know, he was averaging 17 to 20 a game. And, right? Because no one else has that good of a player coming off their bench, or not no one else, if not like at least maybe 4 teams in the Big Ten have that.
Right.
Over half the league does not. So when you're playing someone, you have two go-to guards starting, and then you sub one or two out, and here comes Lino Mark and Tariq Francis, and Caden Powers, three another great scorers. You're hard to beat. You're hard to stop on offense. So that's the thing that Pico could look to. And if it's not Tariq Francis, it might be Darin Smith or Rasheed Jones coming off the bench and leading that unit. So many options, and that's what I love about this recruiting class. There's so many ways Pico could set up this lineup. So my prediction straight off the dome, straight off like just what I've seen of highlights. That means nothing in this day and age. But I see Tariq starting day one. I do. I see Tariq starting. I see Rasheed Jones starting, and I see either Darin Smith, which would be kind of interesting. Three okay defenders in a three-guard lineup. But I think
Mhm.
more realistically, I think they start Darren Buchanan at the three and Will Sidner at the four, with
Yeah,
Christian Gurdak at the five.
that makes
Because
sense.
you,
Yeah.
yeah, you balance out the lack of defense, the lack of size on the front court, and then with three decent defenders in the back in the back court, in the front court, have three decent defenders, including two with Darren Buchanan and Will Sidner. But another possibility could be Tariq, Rasheed Jones, Darren Smith, Will Sidner, and Christian Gurdak. And if that might not be the starting lineup, that might be a lineup they go to when they are down 7 or 8 with 10 minutes to go in the game. You bring in three, I mean, crazy good scorers and one good defender with your center in, and you try to go crazy, and you have those options. And I mean, you could go defense, you could go J Mike, J Mike, Jermichael Davis, you could go Jermichael Davis, Lino Mark, um, Darren Buchanan, Will Sidner, Doran Buka. You can go that lineup, right? You can go all defenders. You could do that lineup with Tariq Francis leading the group as the go-to scorer. That's what I'm thinking. Like, there's so many ways to go. Pico's gonna look at the offseason workouts, um, look at size, look at who like plays well with each other, and this will be figured out by October, November. But
Yeah.
yeah, great class, probably one of the best of the Pico era, the best of the NIL era for Rutgers. He was given more money and he performed. So ups to Pico there.
It's going to be an interesting season. I'm excited to see what happens. Rutgers really one of the most disappointing programs over the past couple of years for New Jersey basketball, especially when you're talking about a year where they had two of the top draft picks in the NBA, where you had a lot of incoming talent as well from other programs, proven players, and now you're getting a chance to at least run that back with. In a sense, with the transfer portal, where you're going to be bringing in some of these top prospects that have already proven themselves at the Division One level, will that transfer over to Pikel and the Big Ten? Is yet to be seen, but I'm sure, as you said, we're going to be hearing a lot more as those summer workouts begin to kick off in just a couple weeks. But that's pretty much going to do it for us tonight from the chopping block. My name is Andrew alongside Dylan. It's been great talking with you about all of the departures and incoming players for Rutgers in this coming season. And make sure you look out for Turnpike Takes coming later this week when we're going to be talking about every single team in New Jersey. And if this took us 36 minutes for just one, you are going to be so excited for how long it's going to take us to get through the other seven. So thanks again, everyone, so much for listening. Have a great night. Like and subscribe down below, and we'll see you next time.